Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday, the 31st of July. Um, I want to talk about the Abrahamic Age. What has created this age? The thought, what it is we are doing out of perception of ourselves and God. Um, and what the outcome will be of the Abrahamic Age. And I want to talk about this new age, the new age, the new agers. Yeah? That say we're coming into the age of love, where God is love. I will talk about that in the end as far as I can, because I think we have not defined that age, which is why it's not here. Because it is the defining of something that will create the reality, and we haven't done that. I want to show you that in the end, especially those new agers that are sitting there spaced out. Is because they have not defined what it is they're talking about. Anyway, let's go to the Abrahamic Age first and see what happened in the story. Yeah, folks, it's not all algorithms and metaphors. It creates a reality. Yeah, get out of this. It's all, right. And and let me just say, when I say God in this video, I mean on the level of beings, the created. I'm not talking about the all. Forget the all. We have to deal with what was created. So we're on the level of being. So, and starting with what Abraham did. Yeah, and again, get out of, he was all loving kindness and he was all about hospitality. Yes, he did bring strangers into his tent, and yes, he did feed them and he offered hospitality. He did that for a reason, because as they were in his tent, he was telling them about his God. He was preaching to them while they were there. Yeah. And actually, I see that done even in this world today, that method being used, especially by a church here in Northern Ireland. They draw people into their building via a food bank, by giving them food. So, that was the reason. Again, it served a purpose. It was not selfless. Anyway, okay, what Abraham actually did, when you look at the story, yeah? There is a God, Elohim, a powerful one. Again, are we talking about a physical being? I think so. I think this perception of God as powerful, as the powerful one, as the law, as the one that has to be obeyed, this perception of God, I think was created through an experienced reality. Yeah? That didn't come out of nowhere. It was a solid reality that we experienced. So there are powerful ones that, for the most part, ruled over humanity through brute strength. Yes, again, strength. There's something, again, that we attribute to God, strength. Powerful, the law, his strength, he is the ruler. So, again, ruling over humanity through strength. And again, there's more than one. Yeah, Elohim is plural. That there's a group of beings that are doing that. And then we become slaves. Now, first of all, in the garden, in the story, first of all, we did not know good and bad for ourselves. That means we were not conscious. So we served the gods not being conscious. And then we became conscious. And then God started ruling over us, as I said, by force, because he had to go up against our understanding, against our will, against how we thought and felt about things, knowledge of good and bad according to ourselves. So they had they were up against that. So they ruled by force. And then what Abraham did, make no mistake, he made a deal where he would again serve God willingly as a servant. And here, a servant, the difference between a servant and a slave is that a servant gets paid. He gets a reward for his service. Yeah? So Abraham became a servant to the powerful ones. And now what is, and there is really, no, I mean, trauma was there before. Obviously, trauma was there before, because, and the trauma is really the fight inside of ourselves, against our own conscience, against our knowing of ourselves. So when Abraham made the deal, the trauma was still there, because obviously he had to go against his own conscience if he is required to sacrifice his own son in order to find favor with the powerful ones, really. And that is really showing how far he's willing to go to suppress his own conscience in order to serve. That was a test, and as I said in my video before, he did pass it with flying colors. But again, that is what causes the trauma in us, the pain. We are at war with ourselves inside. We're suppressing our own conscience. We're beating it down. Yes, and there goes. That was the beginning of the Abrahamic Age. That is where our conscience made a deal with the powerful ones in order to get a reward. And then we come to Jesus, which will be the end of the Abrahamic Age. And that is really, if you have a thought, if you're doing something and you are taking it to its utmost extreme. And that's what Jesus did. Now make no mistake, people are trying to tell you there's a different God there. Yeah, like Jesus did not serve Yahweh. It's all different. He was the great enlightened one. No, he was not. He absolutely was not. And he was not serving a different God. God had not changed. God has not changed in the entire book. It is still the will to want to rule over, have control over everything. Be the powerful one. It hasn't changed. Jesus just found a different way of dealing with that. Again, when he says, I am of Abraham, I am the straight line from Abraham, I'm a son of Abraham. Yeah? Again, Abraham was the servant to the powerful ones. Yeah? And Jesus became the ultimate son of the powerful ones. The ultimate servant. The ultimate servant. Taking it to the extreme. And here comes again, we have to suppress our consciousness. And Jesus found a way, or was given a way, was shown a way. I don't know where it came from, whether that came out of himself and he gave the knowledge to God, or God gave the knowledge to him and he worked it and became that. I don't know which way around. But what he did was, we have knowledge. Let me explain this to you again. We gain knowledge and it's brought to us on energies. Yeah, a feeling that comes to bring you knowledge, which is an angel in the book. Yeah, it is the energy itself. It's the angel. You have fear that brings you knowledge of danger. You have anger that brings you knowledge of injustice. Sadness that brings you knowledge of loss. This is how we gain information on, that is our emotional intelligence. And then the head knowledge has to go and look around the world and see, where is it? What is this feeling telling me? And it has to start. And then when the two come together, yeah, the feeling is there, it tells you there's danger. The eyes can see it, the head can reason, they come together, you know. That is knowing, when they come together. So the way that Jesus became the perfect servant is by doing away with all other knowledges, that is to say, do away with all other energies and be on only one. Have knowledge according to one energy, which was compassion in his case. And that is a complete compartmentalization of knowledge inside of yourself. That is doing away with all other knowledge. And then you are on just one narrow bandwidth. And that's all you can see. And you only know according to that. You have total tunnel vision. And I said before, look at this world now. Look at the mighty ones, what we call the mighty ones. You know, the powerful ones. People, the human ones. Most of them are on one energy. They are on greed, they are on vanity, they are on lust, and yes, compassion. And that's all. That means that every one of them is actually, they have knowledge of one thing, but they are unable to reason any wider than, you know, good and bad. You know, if you're on greed, if I get something, it's good. If I don't get something, it's bad. That's it. If you're on lust, if I get sex, it's good. If I don't get sex, it's bad. But that is all they can reason, which is a lot less. Again, we're becoming less than the fullness of a human being. We can know more than that. Yeah, if I get money, it's good. If not, it's bad. We can know more than that. They can't. And then the way that is being used, and then God, the rulers can use those people. They become the servants to the all-seeing eye in the top of the pyramid. Yeah, and God will use them like pieces on a chessboard. And they will do his service. And there will be no conflict inside of themselves because they cannot reason. Again, here is the trauma is being taken away again. I mean, you're not completely unconscious as we were in the beginning, in the garden, but your consciousness is not restricted. That, and then if you're being given a task according to what you are, have become, then there is no trauma. Again, Jesus is taking away all the pain. There's going to be no more conflict. We're going to serve God. We don't know what we're doing, or we know very little of what we're doing, but hey, we're going to be happy, because we will receive according to ourselves. And then can God use, like a Jesus, to show compassion? Yes, of course he can. And then really listen to what Jesus said, because that's what he did. If this were to glorify the Father, let it be in compassion. But not, it is not if it does good to the person that I'm doing something to. No, if it glorifies the higher power, then let it be. It is in service to God. It is in service to the top of the pyramid. because all the power and all the glory shall go there. Everything shall serve them. So if it serves God to show compassion, he will do so. Absolutely. And he will use a person to express that compassion through the person that is just compassion and can't see anything else, and he can no longer see the bigger picture that he's in. Yeah? Oh, I'm all compassion, and God is leading me to do something compassionate, and I shall do it, and God is good, and he cannot see all the other parts anymore, or what he's part of. Compartmentalization of knowledge inside of ourselves. We are being divided inside of ourselves from all other knowledge to become just one thing. And then we are the perfect servants, and that is from the beginning of Abraham, the willingness to serve God and the willingness to compromise your own conscience. That is the ultimate outcome. You will have no conscience. And I heard people, now again, I still don't know whether Steiner actually said that. This is certain knowledge. And I'm not sure I'm trusting the source that I heard it from, but let that be. If Steiner said, so I said this is dodgy, but if Steiner actually said that humanity is destined to become angelic beings, to become angelic, yeah, and the person that told me, it was like, how wonderful that's going to be. We're all going to be angelic. And really no understanding what that word actually means. There's this fuzzy idea of, we're all going to be beautiful light beings when we're angelic. And then again, look at the book. Look at what the book actually says about angels. There are angels in that book that have swords and that kill babies. There are angels in that book that will blow up entire cities. Yeah? So we're all fluffy and nice when we're angelic? No, absolutely not. But they are the servants of God, and they're doing his will unquestioningly. That's an angel, a faithful servant that will do as he is told. Again, and if you deviate just a bit, and it happened to Saul, King, the one before David. That's not his name. Is it Saul? Anyway, it happened to him. He deviated slightly from what God had said he should do, and he was destroyed. David deviated slightly, yeah, and he was punished. Moses, yeah, who drew water from the stone. I drew water from the stone. Oh, no, that's it. You're not getting into the promised land. You did not give all the glory to God. There's a wrong thing there. Yeah, you're kind of saying, I did it. So, there you go. If you slightly deviate from what God tells you, he will come down as like a ton of bricks on you. And there, Jesus again, he was shown a way by which we can no longer deviate, because we do not have the reasoning to do it. And that's becoming a faithful servant, an angelic being. That is what it means. Yeah, and then no, glory, hallelujah, forget it. So there's the thing. You start compromising your conscience, in order to serve, in order to gain profit. And it will lead you to a point where you will have no more conscience. That is the outcome. That is what happened to Jesus. That is the way of complete denial of self until you become that sort of a being, an angelic being on only one energy. And yes, you will be the faithful servant of God, and you won't know what it is you're doing. Right, so we'll go into what that. That will be the complete enslavement of humanity. We will become transhuman. We will transcend humanity in the wrong direction, becoming less, lot less. Right, so we do need another outcome to this story. Absolutely we do. You know, that outcome is just no, let's not go there. So how to end the Abrahamic Age, and what is our desire, what is our vision for the future, for the next age, where is it we want to go? Now, first of all, I would say we need to, and here is a new vision of what it is we're in. And it is actually not a new vision, we're going back to where we were before. Folks, what happened in the Abrahamic Age is we went into the darkness. Big style. We need to go at least back to where we were before. Not perfect, but it was better than this. And it is that in all the ancient teachings, the vision of what we are in was the vision of a web. Yeah? And there's again, one part of the web is not connected to everything, but it is connected to that which is around it, and then the next one is connected to what is around it, and that is how you form a web. And it's level. It's a level playing field. There are no elevations. In fact, if you look at the web in space, in the cosmos, there is no up and down in the cosmos. You know, it might be 3D, but there is no up and down. Where's up and down in space? Again, you come to since the Abrahamic Age, or maybe before that as well. But even those like a Steiner or Theosophy, any other teaching at the moment, they see a hierarchy. It's always a hierarchy, and there's definitely an up and there's definitely a down. Yeah? And most of us are at the bottom. And God is up above in heaven. And that is really, there's the pyramid. Seeing ourselves, seeing what we're in as that system. And that is actually being in darkness. I think the vision of the web was the greater understanding of what it is we're actually in. So we need to go back to that. We need to see ourselves in that. That's the first thing. And here we come to the New Ages, and God is love. And what happens? And I mean, I can hear them saying it. Yeah, I'm not making this up. They are saying it themselves. Yeah, they go inside of themselves, they see something great, and they say it's an indescribable feeling. And then some say they see this bright white light. Yeah? So, and they're actually saying what is happening. They know something on the level of feeling. Yeah? It's there, it exists, it's great. But they cannot describe it, therefore there is no vision. They cannot see what it is. As soon as we start describing it, it will create forms. And then again, it will become a reality. But here we are at the beginning of God is love. We are not seeing it yet. And that is because we have not created definitions. What is contained in that white light? I said so many times, if you put it through a prism, It contains all the colors of the rainbow. What are they? What do they do? How do you express love? Make it a reality, a working reality in this world. See, that's where they are at. They have the emotional knowing, the feeling knowing, but the head is not there yet. Hasn't caught up. So, and it should create an expansion. We are looking for an expansion of consciousness to become bigger. Yeah? Again, let me just go back. What Jesus did is they're putting you from one wavelength onto another wavelength. Yeah? And if every one of them are narrow bands, you're just jumping from one narrow band to another. That is not an expansion. You're just as limited on one bandwidth as another. You're just having a different experience. But every one of them is as limited as the other. So that's not an expansion. To become all compassion is not an expansion. You just move to a different prison. So we're looking for an expansion. And when I was thinking about the workings of love, and again, I'm saying love is not all lovey-dovey. It is not. What does love want to achieve? That's the first thing. Well, what does love want to achieve? Why is it there? And I think for many of us, it's what we want. We want togetherness, we want peace, we want wellness, we want prosperity. Yeah? That is what love should achieve. And in order to do so, yeah, God gives and God takes away. If you, let's say wellness, for instance, that's just as an example. If somebody is on heroin, they're an addict, and you want to help them, you will have to take something away, and you will need to have the strength and stay firm. And you have, in a way, you have to take control over him. You have to take power over that person, because they will not have the strength themselves. So you will have to have that strength for them. Yeah? So this part of strength, power, and wanting to have dominion over something is actually a working part of love. Can be a working part of love. Compassion in that moment will not work, but you need to have the strength to stay firm. And yes, you will cause them suffering for a while when you take these things away. Yeah? But then again, you will need to know that your action is good. It constitutes good, even though it seems to create suffering. Yeah? So, the strength to take away, the compassion to give. Not good and bad, not fighting against each other, but coming together, and then you become something bigger. Yeah? So again, love is all give, give, give. It's all compassion. No, it's not. No, it's not. That is not love. It's a part of love. Again, it's a part. But it's not all that is required to make love a reality in this world. You need both sides to come together and use them in the correct way. Use them when they serve. Don't judge them. Sometimes compassion serves, sometimes giving serves, sometimes taking away serves. You need to be able to be both. And again, here we need to become a being with multiple aspects. And that is multi-dimensional. In order to work love, we need to be greater, more than what we are right now if we're being driven onto just one energy. And I would say We're only going back to what we once knew. Yeah? We were led into the darkness. We were led into ignorance. No longer knowing ourselves, judging ourselves, judging parts of ourselves, doing away, if we're Jesus, we're actually doing away with parts of ourselves. But if we want to return to the light of love, then we need to be a multidimensional being. And I think we were that once. The Abrahamic Age took that away from us. Anyway, I think I leave it at that for today. Just saying the new age, going into the new agers at the moment, they know it on a feeling level, but they have not created definitions that would make it a reality. And it is when the thought and the emotional knowing come together, it will become a reality. But then you need a blinking thought, a knowing here to connect to there, to make it. And that's a definition. You need to know what it is you're talking about. God is light, God is love, God is a wonderful feeling. It won't do. Anyway, I leave it at that. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.